everybody. Today's speech I'm going to be informing you about the history of El Salvador. These are my 9 audience members. To start off, just going to give you a little bit of facts, okay? El Salvador is the smallest country in Central America, measuring a total of 8,000 square miles, home to only 6 million people. It's a country I was born in, and countries and cultures that I'm in love with. But inside this country is a lot of history rich, some that I didn't know when I was researching this topic, but I found out when researching. And today I'll be talking about the very first tribe who stepped foot in the land of El Salvador. I'll be talking about a 12-year civil war that took place that eliminated a bunch of civilians, and just some current history that's going on in El Salvador today. To start off this great history, I'm going to talk about the very first people who stepped foot in El Salvador. So to begin with, in 2000 BC, it was the Olmecs who first stepped foot onto El Salvador, followed by some Mexican Mayans called the Pipils. The Pipils called their new home Cuscatlan, aka Land of Jewels, and brought many crafts and farming methods to be able to grow on this land. That allowed them to start trading with merchants nearby and allowed them to begin getting currency to build lands and pyramids, which were the first cities of El Salvador. And with those cities, it attracted Spanish settlers, which brought the Spanish settler Pedro de Alvarado that conquered El Salvador and brought its independence on September 15, 1820. By causing attention to El Salvador, hundreds of years passed until the bloody Civil War began. The prelude to the war started in 1970 when La Matanza happened, which is called the slaughter. It happened when a revolt took place against the current dictator that owned more than half the land of El Salvador and ended up killing up to 30 civilians. And 10 years later, after La Matanza, started the Civil War. The liberation wing called FMLN revolted against country's government and caused political violence, which resulted in the death of Bishop Oscar Romero, leader of the right-wing party, resulting in the start of the Civil War. During the Civil War, 4 church women were raped and murdered, which caused the attention of the United States to step in. The current president, Jimmy Carter of the United States, cut off some aid to El Salvador, which caused the Civil War to get worse. Human rights were violated, civilian torture was each and every day, and ended up raping more than 75,000 Salvadorian civilians, which 75,000 civilians died after the war. The war ended in 1992 when the new elected Salvadorian president, Alfredo Cristiani, signed peace with the FMLN party and paved the way of a war that lasted 12 years. So now I want to talk about recent history that is going on in El Salvador too. In 2009, FMLN President Mauricio Funes was elected president, ending 2 decades of conservation in El Salvador. In late March 2012, gang rates had reached its highest average with 17 murders a day. And under President Funes' election, it brought it down to 40%, only 5 deaths a day, which is still a lot, but still. In between Salvadorian rival gangs MS-13 and 8th Street. Later that month, on April 14, 2012, it was the first day in 3 years that there was no single death in the country. On May 2013, there were 70,000 gang members, only 9,000 serving time in prison. But that all changed in 2013 when a crime crime-stopping program arose called Alto al Crimen, which began cleaning the streets of El Salvador into what it is now. But before all the negatives started with this beautiful country, Mayan culture but before all the negative started with the beautiful Mayan culture to ever walk El Salvador, paving a way to the birth of a gruesome act of war, to now recently cleaning up the streets of the most dangerous Central American country in the world. It has been a pleasure to inform you about my beautiful country, El Salvador. And this is where I got all my information from. This is my works cited page. I got it from infoplease.com. I got it from teachingamerica.com and CJA.org. Thank you guys.
I was a little bit over.
You went over?
I went over?
Just edit that part out.